Hi there, Shauna here from Wellness Seeker on this lovely, wet and cold Wednesday evening. Hello Shauna Bray, how are you? Shauna, can you hear me and can you see me okay? And just double checking that I am broadcasting onto the Wellness Seeker page. I haven't gone live in any of the other groups or any of the other pages this evening. So Sean, if you can let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me, that would be brilliant. Fantastic. So we're going to let this build a wee bit. I know I gave plenty of notice. Oh, perfect. Brilliant, Sean, I'm delighted. All of the poor husband and the poor children have been kicked out of the kitchen. Hi Izzy, hi Stacey, hi Alison, hi everybody. I'm glad to have you here, delighted to have you. So as you all know, we are here to do the self-sabotage masterclass, the lovely piece on self-sabotage. Hi Siobhan, hi Alison. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover a wee bit of ground tonight. Hi Lucy, hi to everybody, and hopefully we'll get some results for you by the end of session. Will not be too long this evening. We'll try and make it as quick as possible. So, self-sabotage. Is anyone here self-sabotaging at the moment or thinking that they're self-sabotaging? Is there anybody here looking for some particular information or results from this today, and have they joined just to see if they actually are sabotaging themselves, if some of this language is actually something that they use every day? So let me know if that's the case. Just type into the comments or give me a thumbs up if that's where you're at the minute. So self-sabotage, what we're going to do this evening is we're going to look at what self-sabotage actually is. Yeah, what does it mean, Izzy? Well, we'll go through it now and we'll see where we are. So we're going to look at what it actually is and how it manifests in ourselves. And we're going to look at the difference between self-sabotage and other behaviours that looks like self-sabotage. That's going to be really important. So without further ado, we'll get started. So basically, what I want you to be able to do this evening after this live is I want you to be able to check if you're self-sabotaging. Check what other behaviour you could be embroiled in. Maybe it's not self-sabotaging, but it's something else. Check that. Know exactly what you're doing to yourself. Know why. And have some of the questions, some of the tools that will help you undo it. So that's my promise, that's my heartfelt intention. Hi Lan, that's my heartfelt intention by the end of this evening, is to help that place and that thing in yourself. So we're going to do that. So is this familiar and is this something that you can all resonate with? And if it is, then please let me know. Just give me a thumbs up or a heart or whatever you want to give. Is this familiar with you? You want something so badly. You spend all your waking minutes thinking about it. You spend all your waking hours thinking about it. You put a lot of energy into wanting this thing. But you find yourself engaged in behaviours that actually move you away from the thing that you want. Now, does that make sense to anybody that's on here? You want something so badly. You think about it, you talk about it, you talk consistently about it, you think consistently about it, but you actually do things that makes you feel like you're moving in the opposite direction of it. Yes, Izzy, that's kind of the definition, the widest definition of self-sabotage. So I think we're all guilty of it. I think every human being in the world is guilty of it. But what I would like to kind of get into contact with is why and what are you actually doing to yourself? So how does this play out? Well, here's some of the many scenarios that I've seen in clinical practice. Here's some of the many scenarios that I've seen in myself. I've seen, weight loss, wanting it so much, wanting it more than anything, but overeating. Yeah, wanting something, wanting to be a particular weight, but then kind of going against yourself when it comes to the eating, going against yourself when it comes to the plan, when you know all the hows, when you know all of the whys. I see lots of the girls that are in my emotional eating group here, so this will all resonate with you girls, and we've talked about this inside the course lots and lots of times. But another one is a new job. Wanting. How many of us that are on here tonight want a new job? How many of us want a different career? How many of us want something better or more for ourselves? How many actually have started this September saying, by January I'm not going to be in this job, by January I'm never doing another Christmas in XYZ? Does any of that ring true for anybody? I worked in retail for years and years and years, and I used to say that constantly. I'll never do another January, I'll never do another Christmas in retail. That used to be my bird song every year. And the truth was much deeper than that. I always did the next year until I didn't, which is what I'm going to share with you in a wee while. So, a new business venture, maybe healing, maybe it's not even a new business. Or let's go with that. You want a new business, but you don't take the action, you don't take the research, you don't put yourself forward, you just don't put yourself forward. Maybe it's actually healing. Maybe you really want to heal. Maybe you really want to change this anxiety. Maybe you really want to change this emotional eating. Maybe you really, so retirement for you, Lan, this will be great then for you. So maybe you really want to change. Maybe you want to change emotionally. Maybe you want to heal. Maybe you want to let go of the stuff that you have held all these years. Maybe you want to let go of the pain and the hurt. But you find yourself back in the same pattern, back in the same thought system, pulling yourself back constantly. Maybe that's your self-sabotage. But there's lots, like new lifestyle, a new beginning, there's lots and lots of things that I see at a clinical level, and that I've seen in myself, and that I see in my friends, that I see in my girlfriends, that I see in just all around us. And if any of this resonates, then please let me know. So what I wanted to do tonight is I wanted to have a broad conversation first about why we do that. I often hear people say, and especially in the groups that I'm in, especially in the groups, the courses that I run, I'm self-sabotaging myself. I am actually doing this to stop my success. And sometimes that is true, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a motivation issue and not a sabotage issue. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a wee bit deeper than that. Sometimes it's a way of holding yourself back from deserving a good life. Sometimes it's kind of, and I'm going to use this word, but it's not directly self-harming, but sometimes it's a punitive thing that you're doing to yourself. You're punishing yourself, you're holding yourself back. Not always is it actually self-sabotage. So what I want to do here tonight is I want to explain what self-sabotage is, to really get into that. And what's really interesting here now in the feed is people are starting to say, yes, yes, that rings true for me. Change is scary. Absolutely, Stacey, change is scary. And yes, Pauline, we need to let go of the old stuff, but it's sometimes we sabotage our own success, and here is why. All that self-sabotage is, I'm going to say all that it is. It can feel so bloody difficult, and I'm saying all that it is, but all that it is a set of mixed associations. Now, what does that mean? All that real, true self-sabotage is a set of mixed associations. Now, let's take some of those examples through. Let's take the example through of emotional change. Let's take that through that understanding. So, is everybody with me so far? I've lost nobody. Yes, Louise. Louise is saying she does this all the time and she didn't even realise she was doing it. So for some people, they are doing it and they don't realise. For some people, they're doing it and they don't know why they're doing it. And this is going to be massive. This next piece is going to be massive. So basically, if we take the idea of growth, of personal growth, of change, of letting go of the past, of letting go of anxiety, that all sounds fantastic, right? It sounds amazing. But the reality of it is, if you have any mixed associations inside that goal, you will either consciously or subconsciously sabotage yourself. Now, what is mixed associations? So, if I, for example, really want to change, and I want to let go of the old me, and I want to let go of the past, and I want to let go of all of the stuff that's been holding me back, and I want a bigger, brighter version of myself, I might possibly be in a marriage that won't allow that won't facilitate it, that won't encourage it. And what I might find is that my change might just ruin my marriage, ruin my relationships, or at least that's what I think. That my thought process is that if I do what I need to do, which is let go of all of this stuff, all of the outer, my relationships will change, everything outside me will change, and that is a risk too big. Now, is that making any sense? Can you see the mixed associations? You really want to grow, you really want to develop, you really want to live in your power, you really want to love who you are, you want to live in this place. But if you do what you're trying to do, then there is consequences. Then there is some difficulty in that. Now, here is the difficulty, yeah? The difficulty is that all of the mixed associations aren't available to us. So they're not available at a conscious level to us. They're absolutely not available. So what we're doing, we are then basically then, maybe making the appointment. Maybe making the appointment for the anxiety clinic, or maybe we're making the appointment and then we're not doing the job. Maybe we're going to therapy but not doing the work. Maybe we're putting ourselves forward and pulling ourselves back. Is this making any sense to you? I'm going to run through some examples, but just let me know if it's making sense to you. And we are pulling that behaviour, that push and pull behaviour. That pull behaviour is not conscious of this. So we're not aware that we're afraid that we're going to lose love and connection if we do this thing. We're not aware of that. But we do this unconsciously. We pull ourselves back, unknown to ourselves, and then scratch our heads thinking, am I just being mean to myself? Am I just being horrible to myself? Am I self-sabotaging? Do I not want success? So that is exactly what self-sabotage is. Let me give it to you in a few examples that we ran through. Weight loss. For some people, and I have seen this in the an emotional eating group that I'm in, for some people, they want weight loss, want weight loss, want weight loss, want weight loss. But if they actually give away the weight, if they actually do and take the action, then the mixed associations are that they might get attention for looking fantastic. Now, there might be something in their past that won't want them to get attention, that won't want that's too difficult, that's too painful for them, so they'll come back. So that push and pull will happen. So what happens is then they start to sabotage the weight loss. They start to pull back from the weight loss. They start to pull back, not knowing that there's mixed associations inside the goal. Is that starting to make sense to you? Please let me know if this, I know I can see you. This is starting to make sense to a lot of people. Brilliant, I'm delighted, fantastic. Like the new job or the new business. Money's a massive one as well. And success is a massive one. Success, I have a coaching academy, and in that coaching academy, we're working really hard and building businesses and building coaching for amazing women that are in that academy. And what happens is when you're faced with success, because I know I've done this 100 times. I've wanted to set up my own business. I've wanted to do this. I have wanted so much to do so much in this world. But what happens is when you're afraid that your success will take you outside your inner circles, when you're afraid that your new business will create money and you won't be part of your gang, you won't be part of your community anymore, then you start. That is mixed associations. You want it so much on one hand, but you pull back on the other because there is some pain in actually getting the goal to in actually achieving the goal. So you pull back. Tell me, does that make any sense? So again, a relationship one is perfect. You really, 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 really want a relationship. You want it with all your heart. You think about it. You're looking in every corner of every place for a lovely, caring, kind relationship. But you're ultimately afraid to be hurt. So you have these mixed associations with having that relationship, and then what you start to do in relationships is you start to sabotage them, you start to not show up, you start to not care, you start to pull yourself back, you start to do all of these things that will actually protect you from getting the thing that you want, because getting the thing that you want might bring you more pain. So everybody's saying that makes sense. It's massive, it's absolutely massive. That is the epitome of self-sabotage. We're all, me too, we're all capable of it. We do it every single day, and we do it around the big topics. There is nobody exempt from it because it's basic psychology. We want something with so much vigor with our hearts, but there is mixed association and whatever that is, and that creates this pull effect that pulls us away from achieving. And then we get into such difficulty in ourselves. Now, does that make any sense to anybody? Is everybody getting the idea of, and are you all understanding? Just give me a thumbs up. You don't have to type it in the chat. Let me know if there's anybody that has just caught on that they're actually sabotaging themselves. And do they know what they're sabotaging themselves for? Brilliant, Alison. Brilliant, Kira. So is there anybody? Yeah, so we're all understanding that we're sabotaging. And is some of the stuff that that you're sabotaging yourself around this? Yeah, we're always sabotaging ourselves. It's not, hi Aisling, it's not, it's common to every single one of us. But here's the thing, and I've alluded to this. Look, the reality of it is that it's not conscious to us. It's absolutely not conscious. We're not sabotaging ourselves because we want to hurt ourselves. We're not sabotaging ourselves because we don't want our dreams to come true. We're not sabotaging ourselves because we're just hurtful, hateful people. We're just not. We're sabotaging ourselves because there's mixed associations going on and you don't know why. And Alison just says that. I always knew I did it, but I don't know why. And that's the next step. If that's what you're doing, your next job, is to find out why you're doing it. Is to make the unconscious. And you have to make the unconscious conscious. So you have to make the stuff that you're not aware of conscious. And the best way that you can do this is by these questions. So if you can ask yourself some of these questions. So Claire's a great question. Claire has just asked, what do you do if you notice someone else doing it to themselves? Claire, see in my experience of working on myself and working with other people, when something's presented to you that you don't want to hear, when something's presented to you that you don't want to listen to, when you're not ready to make that stuff conscious, then you'll not receive that well and you often come off the worst. Now, you can do things like share videos like this, you can put quotes up, and if it resonates, then they'll pick it up and maybe they'll ask you. But I think it's always better to be invited into these conversations rather than force these conversations, Claire, if that makes any sense. You know, if we're saying that there's mixed associations, Claire, if we're saying that there's mixed associations, we don't know what those mixed associations are. So those mixed associations could be some very deep, dark, difficult things that have happened in the past, you know, that they don't want to face, that they don't want to look at. So I'm always mindful of inviting people who don't want to do this work into this work. I'm always mindful of not forcing things because you want it, but letting that person, and anyway, you can't change somebody without their consent. They can't change without their own participation. So if you try to drive that, Claire, what will happen is it'll come back on you, if that makes any sense. Did that make sense to everybody else? I'm going to give you the questions now in a minute. I just wanted to answer that for Claire because I think that was important. That was great, Claire. Great question. So, basically what we would like to do is we would like to make some of this conscious stuff, unconscious stuff, conscious. So if you find yourself sabotaging yourself, if you find yourself wanting something so badly, but then pulling yourself back, then ask yourself this question, right? Ask yourself, if I achieve my goal, what will happen? If I achieve that lovely relationship, if I achieve that business, if I achieve all that money, if I achieve that weight loss, whatever the achievement is, if I achieve change, if I achieve growth, if I get rid of this anxiety, if I get rid of this depression, what will happen to me? And the answer that you will get should be a feeling answer. Your gut, your stomach, your internal systems, if you are sabotaging yourself, if you have mixed associations, should just turn on the inside of you. Is this making sense? And as I give you this question and you ask that question to you, is there anybody that's coming up with a kind of an icky feeling? Is there anybody getting some kind of kickback? Because that question should start to stir up some of these mixed associations, and what you should find is that your head will probably offer you, yes, that might, but this will happen, but that will happen. And you start to see this unconscious processing becoming real. Yeah, you've butterflies. Yes, absolutely. Donna's saying she's butterflies. When she asks herself that question, she gets butterflies. And Donna, are those butterflies good butterflies or bad butterflies? Bad butterflies are the anxiety-ridden butterflies, and the good butterflies are the excitement butterflies. That's really important, because if they're excitement, then they don't indicate that there's something brilliant. Butterflies. And are we talking, Gers, are we talking negative butterflies? Yeah. Overwhelmed, then there is mixed associations. There's definitely mixed associations there, which is pulling you back. So I'd like to know from the other two, what kind of butterflies are they? Are they negative butterflies or are they positive butterflies? Really mixed. So it's part of its excitement. All right, Lynn, so yours is low level dread. Brilliant. Donna, you're saying really mixed, which is brilliant, because what you're saying is part of it's exciting and part of it's threatening. That's what that would indicate to me. Part of it's mixed. So Kira, you're the same. Part of it's mixed and part of it's threatening. Brilliant, Gers. Do you see that, what's coming now? So what we're saying is, then, if everybody that's coming that's saying positive, then what we're not looking at, anybody that's saying, giving me negative feelings, and if you just heard a scream, it's one of my boys who's probably been dragged up to bed at 9:30 at night and refusing. If it's dread, then what we're looking at is some mixed associations. If it's heavy, Angela, we're looking at some mixed associations. So I would like to understand, I would like you to understand that more. Is that helpful? And Lynn, yours was dread as well. You are dreading, Lynn, is that right? You are dreading whatever change you're trying to do. Now, the next question is why? Why the dread? Why the difficulty? Why the heavy feeling? What thoughts come when you sit in that feeling? So what are your major thoughts? So Lynn, I'd love to see from you what your thought is. Yes. So what thoughts come? What is the dread? What is the difficulty in that dread, Lynn? That would be amazing to see that. So I will be pulling down now. Now you know that there's some negative associations. I would now be going with that feeling, Lynn, and trying to work from that feeling. I know we're doing a wee bit of live coaching here. I hope nobody... Yes, Louise, there we go. Fear of failure. Fear of failure. If I go to achieve my goals, if I go to achieve... There we go, Avril. Fear of failure. If I go to achieve my goals, if I go to achieve what I want, and if I fail, I won't survive it. So I really, 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 really want it. I really, 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 really need it. But I'm afraid to achieve it because... So now we're starting to, and yeah. So you really don't deserve it, Lynn, and that you'll be found out. And we want to take that a step further. Yeah, and there we go, Stacey. We've too much responsibility, fear, failure for you too, Val. Brilliant. So if you achieve what you want to achieve, then you could face failure. And failure then is that the failure is that we won't survive from the failure. The failure is that we won't recover from it. And now we want to go and underneath that. And we want to say, what is it about failure that I think I won't recover from? What is it about that so we're starting to eke out, even in these conversations, Gers, and how long are we here? God, it's half an hour. Even in these conversations, we're starting to make the unconscious conscious. You're starting to become aware of your mixed associations, which is brilliant. Michelle, it won't ever happen, so why bother? Yeah, that's a belief problem. Yeah, so why bother? Yeah, so that is a mixed association as well. If I try for this, it won't happen, so why bother? It won't happen, I won't get it. So now, Gears, you can see where we're starting to do this. And what you have to do is, once you ask yourself this question, like, what will happen when I achieve it? What difficulties will it give me? Then what you have to do is open up under that, okay? And deepen that further by asking questions like, is it true? And can I cope with failure? And is failure that bad? And is failure worth holding back? I'm just reading some of the comments here. Sorry, Gears, your comments are flying through here. So what you're basically beginning to do is, your job now is to undo the mixed associations. So if you can, and if any of these are visual, I'm a very visual learner. So if any of these are visual, picture a road. Picture a road, and at the end of that road is your goal. And on that road, there's these blocks, and those blocks are your mixed associations. So on that road is the fear of failure. On that road is it'll not happen. On that road is all of these mixed associations. And your job is to identify the blocks. Your job is to identify the blocks, and your job is to undo the blocks. And how you undo those blocks is you check them for truth. And you have to check each block for truth, and then what happens is the path lights up. Would I be okay if I failed? Would it be the worst? Would it be worse to fail and never have reached the goal? So we start to see where we're lifting the blocks off the road to get us where we need to get to. And Gears, I know I'm there constantly. Like it's a journey. It's never a destination. But I'm there constantly pushing myself, constantly moving forward in all areas of my life, in my relationships, in my business, in every area of my life. And sometimes I think there has to be an easier way. Maybe it's easier just to accept no success and push yourself for success. But it is absolutely important, if you want that goal, that you identify the blocks, you identify the mixed associations, you identify what's blocking you, and you lift it. And that is absolutely massive and really important, and that's how you undo self-sabotage. But I want to add a wee caveat to this, because what I want to do tonight is I want to give you as much information so you can distinguish between if you are self-sabotaging or if you're just not motivated. Now, is anybody with me in that? Yeah. Mags, this one's for you then. A lack of motivation to even start is a major problem. Some people think that a lack of motivation is actually self-sabotage, and it's not. It's a different thing. And here's what I mean. Basically, if let's distinguish between the difference between mixed associations and lack of motivation. Basically, you have to want something with so much vigor, with so much passion. And you have to see that as really, really, really positive in your life to gain the motivation to get started. We're not motivated in our heads, we're motivated in our feelings is what motivates us. So when our feelings motivate us, we have to really feel into the desired outcome. It's called outcome orientation. Now, if you don't think that it's possible, if you don't believe that you're going to get it, then that motivation won't be there. But also, it's not even believing it, it's also wanting it. Do you want it that much? Like, I completely and utterly understand that I am about a stone and a half overweight. But you know what? I don't want it enough. I don't want it enough to miss out on lovely food. I'll complain about it, and my bestie Pat will hear it every day. And I'll complain that I'm not in the dress size that I want, but I don't want it enough. That's the truth. I don't want it enough to do anything about it. And that's the difference between motivation and lacking motivation. Because see if we're not intrinsically motivated, see if we're not attached to what we're authentically want and need for our souls and our hearts, do you see if we're not attached yet, you'll not have the motivation to carry out the actions to move those blocks. You won't start that journey on that road without those blocks. You just won't do it. It just won't happen. Because you're not intrinsically aligned with it. And that is absolutely massive. So I want you to distinguish between if you've got mixed associations with something that you really want and are aligned to, and something that you're not even aligned with. So I want you to check that. Check if you have the motivation. Check if that motivation is there. And motivation is a huge part. Now there's another tiny wee part, the last wee part. I would also like you to check if you are actually holding yourself back because you don't deserve to have a good life, because you don't deserve greatness, because you don't deserve success, because you don't deserve a healthy body, because you don't deserve it. So I'm distinguishing between mixed associations, a motivation problem, and a deserving problem. So, how many of us have a deserving problem? How many of us are actually holding ourselves back because we feel that we don't deserve it? We feel that we don't want it. Not that we don't want it, we want it, but we don't deserve it. Is there anybody, and you can just give me a wee heart or a wee thumbs up, and yeah, you just literally don't deserve it. Yeah, so Alison belongs to the don't deserving camp. Now, what you could be doing is you could be setting yourself up for something that you really don't want and really don't need and really not aligned with, and then you've no motivation. And anyway, you think if you get it, it's not going to really work, and that you don't deserve it. You could be dealing with all three, but at least you know now after tonight's chat what you're dealing with, and that you can basically go about undoing those things. The deserving piece is going to be the same as the... So Lynn is just saying definitely. Lynn, what would you be deserve? Why wouldn't you deserve it? Now, I'm not asking you to type it in here, darling. I'm asking you to ask yourself, why do you not deserve it? What is it about you that does not deserve this greatness, this result, this... What is it about you that doesn't deserve that? Because that is the question, guys, that you have to ask yourself. What is it about me that doesn't deserve it? Now, I'm going to give you a recap, okay? So, self-sabotage comes in many forms. Understanding what form you have it in is vitally important. Self-sabotage is the pushing and pulling effect that happens. You want something, but you do something to ruin it. Have you got mixed associations in that self-sabotage? Have you got problems in that self-sabotage? Do you feel that if you get this goal, that then there will be difficulties, the difficulties will be greater than the goal, and do you pull back? So do you feel that if you get this goal, there will be difficulties in that goal, and the difficulties are greater than the goal itself, and you pull back? So that is what real self-sabotage is. Second, are you just motivated? Are you absolutely just not motivated? Is the goal that you're trying to reach not aligned with your best life, with who you are intrinsically? Does it not light you up? And you just have no motivation for it? Absolutely no motivation. Is it what you really want? Is it just a motivation issue, or is it a deserving issue? And what I would like you to do within all three of those is I'd like you to check them, and then I'd like you to come on underneath them. When I say underneath them, anybody that's that works with me one-to-one or any of my groups will understand when I say come on underneath. It's not enough to say, yeah, I think that I don't deserve. Why do you not deserve? Or I think that I don't want to feel failure. Why do you not want to feel failure? What is it about failure you don't like? You have to start hitting this stuff out of the park. You start removing these boulders to your greatest success, to the life that you know that you're here to live. Because every one of us are. Every one of us are designed for our own version of what greatness. And you just have to live into it. But you have to remove the psychological stuff in order to get traction. I know because I'm doing it every bloody week. I'm doing it every day. I'm removing stuff that's blocking every single day. Is it easy? No. Is it hard work? Yes. But is it worth it? Absolutely bloody worth it, I can tell you. From the bottom of my heart, worth it. So, here we are. Here is, tell me firstly, does that make sense to everybody that's here? Are we getting this? Does that make sense? So the question, Lorraine's just saying, as much as she wants it, she's no motivation. I would check the no motivation. I would check why you don't have motivation and check where that's coming from. And Lynn, for you, what I'd like you to go back and do is I'd like you to check why you don't deserve it. I'd like you to check the lethargy that's on that. And if that made sense to you and if it was helpful, and then I'm so delighted and grateful. If anybody else that wants to take this conversation further, if anybody else wants me to actually help them physically with this stuff, that wants to be in a room with me where we do this, then the boot camp is next weekend. It's next Sunday, the 30th. And this is the boot camp. The boot camp is where we do mindset stuff. So the boot camp is where we're all in a room and we are going to do certain things, which is, here's the itinerary for the boot camp. The boot camp is where we look at your why, we align you, we check you in with your why, we check you in with what you want, what your passion is, what your love is, where you want to go in this world. We do that. Then what we do is we do your dream. We empty out your dreams. We empty those out in a page. We empty those out in our hearts and our minds. We're sitting among loads of women who are in the same boat in a lovely high vibe environment, and we get to know what our dreams are. But here's the magic: once those dreams come, then so does all of the negativity. And what we do is we allow those to pour out. We allow ourselves to see all the unconscious stuff. We allow ourselves to see all the difficulties. We allow ourselves to see all the rubbish, because we can't hide that stuff. Then the lovely Julie from Rise Transformational Coaching is going to give us a brilliant toolbox and show us how she got out of a very, very, very difficult place. Then we're going to undo that stuff. We're actually going to undo it. I'm going to be live coaching. I'm going to be working with you on undoing, making the unconscious conscious, undoing, getting out of all of those roadblocks. We're going to be checking our self-sabotaging. We're going to be checking all of that, removing all of those blocks, removing all of those mindset issues that you have. And then we're going to go back to the dream, and we're going to be setting out a plan for that dream. We're going to be setting out all of the tools that'll help you then achieve that dream once you're aligned, once you get rid of all of the rubbish, and we hook you up for success. So at the end of that workshop, you will know your why, you will know what you want out of life, you will be intrinsically motivated, you'll have got rid of the rubbish, you will then be linked up to a plan in your heart that you know that you can achieve, and then if you want, we can continue that conversation after. So the boot camp, if you're interested, I think there's two tickets. There's a normal ticket, and then which is, I think the normal ticket's 10 to 3. If Lisa's on here, she'll tell me. I always get these things wrong. 10 to 3, and then there's a kind of a VIP where I then go through your plan in fine-tooth comb and make sure we don't miss a thing. So that's massive. So that's the workshop, and then we have the wee VIP part, and then there's loads of surprises inside. We're actually in the Red Castle, which is going to be a lovely high vibe environment. It'll be great. It'll be great to be around other women who are processing all of this stuff, and that you can share this stuff with. So I think there's only a few tickets. Lisa, if she's here, she'll tell me, for the VIP one left, and I think there is some more for the standard one. It's £50 for the day, and I'll put the link above this now if you're interested. And I don't think there's that many places left. I'd love to continue this conversation. I'd love to be working. You can see how passionate I get about it. I'd love to be working alongside you and really getting into the nitty-gritty of this. So if this is for you, if this is what you want, if you want a new mindset for the next 6 months and forevermore after that, if you want to set yourself up for success in January, then start now and join the boot camp. So I hopefully that made sense to you. Hopefully it was of value. I think I'm going to get killed. I asked the husband and the Wednesday leave, so that we could, so that I could do a wee 15-minute video. I'm just looking, it's 9:45. Yeah, I can hear them outside with the dog, so I'm probably going to get murdered. So I will go now and leave you all for a lovely evening, and thanks so much for joining us. And if you've any questions, well, and I hope you got enough from that. I hope that that is enough to point you in the right direction, because I know that you followed through there. It was like live coaching. I know you followed through there with me, so I hope that you got enough. And I hope to see all of you guys in the boot camp. It'll be my pleasure. I'll see you all later. Bye for now. Good night for now, and thanks so much. Thanks, Aisling. It's lovely to see you. Thank you. So join me if you can, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.